1. We've got a real treat for you. A 1984 Chevrolet Corvette that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic beauty is priced at just $7,000, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A car this old must be in pretty rough shape, right? Well, think again. According to the seller, this Corvette is in excellent condition. That's right, excellent. And I've got no reason to doubt them because they've provided a ton of details about all the work that's been done on this car. Let's start with the engine. It's a 5.7-liter 350 V8, which is a classic Corvette power plant. And get this, it's got a brand new 700R4 automatic transmission, so you know it's going to shift smoothly and reliably. But that's not all. The seller has also installed new rotors, calipers, brake pads, and even a new master cylinder. So not only will this Corvette have plenty of power, but it'll also stop on a dime. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Corvette has also gotten a complete tune-up, new KYB shocks all around, a new starter, and a new battery. And if you're worried about emissions, don't be. It just passed a smog test last week, and it's registered until 2025. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical about a car with just 61,000 miles on the odometer. But the seller has provided receipts for all the work and parts that have gone into this Corvette, so you can buy with confidence. And speaking of buying, the seller is even open to trades. Specifically, they're looking for a Tahoe or a Ranger. But even if you don't have a trade, this Corvette is still an amazing deal. The interior is clean, the rear hatch pops up, and it's got a removable top for those sunny summer days. And with that classic silver paint job, this Corvette is sure to turn heads wherever you go. So if you're in the market for a classic American sports car that's been well maintained and upgraded, this 1984 Chevrolet Corvette is definitely worth checking out. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of automotive history at an unbeatable price. 2. We've got a real gem for you, a 1972 Plymouth Scamp that's up for sale on Craigslist for just $9,000. Now I know what you might be thinking. A car that's almost 50 years old must be a rusty pile of junk, right? Well, think again. According to the seller, this Scamp is in good condition. Sure, it needs a new right door, but the seller says it still functions just fine. And get this, the body is solid, with minimal rust and nice solid floor pans. That's a rare find for a car of this age. But the real star of the show here is what's under the hood. This Scamp is packing a 451 stroker engine with Indy EZ cylinder heads, an MSD billet distributor, a Demon carb, and an Eddie Victor intake. In other words, this thing is built for speed, and with 520 horsepower at the crank, you better believe it's going to be a blast to drive. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Scamp also has a 727 automatic transmission that shifts well, and an 834 rear end with a 323 Shore grip. And get this, the engine and transmission are fresh, with only a dyno run on them. That means you're getting a car that's ready to hit the road, or the track, right out of the gate. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, a race car for the street? Is that even legal? Well, the seller has thought of that too. This Scamp has a roll cage, race seats, and harnesses, so you can feel safe and secure while you're tearing up the pavement. And let's talk about that color, brown. I know it might not be the flashiest color out there, but there's something about a classic muscle car in an understated hue that just oozes cool. Plus, with a clean title, you can be sure that this Scamp is ready to be yours. So if you're in the market for a vintage muscle car that's been built for speed and performance, this 1972 Plymouth Scamp is definitely worth checking out. With minimal rust, solid floor pans, and a monster engine under the hood, this car is sure to turn heads and leave other drivers in the dust. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of American muscle car history. Give the seller an email and make this Scamp yours today. 3. We've got a real treat for you, a 1961 Mercury Comet that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This classic beauty is priced at just $11,500, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Comet. According to the seller, it's in excellent shape. That's right, excellent. The paint job is very nice, and there's no rust to be found anywhere on the car. The interior is also great, which is a testament to how well this car has been cared for over the years. Under the hood, you'll find a 144 cubic inch inline-six engine that's paired with a 3-speed manual transmission on the column. This is a classic setup for a car of this era, and it's sure to provide a driving experience that's both fun and engaging. The seller does note that the car could use some tuning since it came from Texas at a lower elevation, but that's a minor issue that can be easily addressed. Now let's talk about the price. At just $11,500, this Comet is an absolute bargain. The seller even notes that a paint job alone would cost more than what they're asking for the entire car. That's how nice the paint is on this thing. But the real reason to buy this car is the fact that it's a piece of automotive history. The Mercury Comet was a popular car in its day, and it's not often that you find one in such great condition. This car has been well maintained over the years, and it shows in every detail. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's both beautiful and fun to drive, this 1961 Mercury Comet is definitely worth checking out. With its excellent condition, classic styling, and bargain price, it's sure to be a hit with any car enthusiast. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of automotive history. Give the seller a call and make this Comet yours today. 4. We've got a real gem for you. A 1977 Chevrolet Camaro that's up for sale on Craigslist for just $14,000. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A car that's over 40 years old must be a rusty pile of junk, right? Well, think again. According to the seller, this Camaro is in good condition. Sure, there's one rust spot on the lower right fender, but the seller has already bought a new one that's still in the box. And get this, the car has only 19,200 original miles on it, and it's all documented. That's right, this Camaro is a low-mileage survivor. But the real star of the show here is what's under the hood. This Camaro is packing an LM1 350 engine with a quadrajet carburetor and a turbo 350 automatic transmission. And if that's not enough, it's also got a 3.08 performance axle and factory air conditioning. In other words, this thing is built for both speed and comfort. But the upgrades don't stop there. The seller has also installed an Edelbrock 2102 cam and lifters, a Performer 2701 intake, and an Edelbrock 1406 carburetor. They've also replaced the timing sprockets and chain, harmonic balancer, water pump, and freeze plugs. And if you're worried about the suspension, don't be. This Camaro has a rear sway bar, rear air shocks, and front KYB shocks. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what about the interior? Well, the seller has thought of that too. They've purchased a complete black interior kit from Classic Industries and Eckler's, including new door panels, carpet, seat upholstery, and even a new retro Bluetooth AM/FM stereo. And if you're worried about the dash, don't be. The seller has already installed a new black dash. But the real kicker here is the price. At just $14,000, this Camaro is an absolute steal. The seller has put in a ton of work to make this car look and run great, and it shows in every detail. Plus, with all the new parts that come with the car, you'll be able to finish the interior and make this Camaro truly your own. So if you're in the market for a classic muscle car that's been well maintained and upgraded, this 1977 Chevrolet Camaro is definitely worth checking out. With its low mileage, great condition, and tons of new parts, this car is sure to turn heads and provide years of driving enjoyment. 5. We've got a real treat for you. A 1965 Ford Mustang Coupe that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic pony car is priced at just $14,500, and let me tell you, it's a deal that's hard to beat. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A car that's almost 60 years old must be a rusty pile of junk, right? Well, think again. According to the seller, this Mustang has a straight body with no major rust. That's right. This is a California car that's been well preserved over the years. Under the hood, you'll find a V8 289 engine with a 4-barrel carburetor. That's the C-code engine, which means it's got plenty of power to get this pony moving. The seller does note that the car has been sitting for a while, but it still starts and runs. With a little bit of TLC, this Mustang could be back on the road in no time. But the real star of the show here is the interior. This Mustang has a clean pony interior that looks great. It's a testament to the quality of the restoration work that was done on this car back in the late 90s. The seller doesn't mention any major issues with the interior, so you can assume that it's in good shape. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the title and registration. Well, the seller has a clean title in hand, and the car is currently registered as non-operational. That means you'll need to do a little bit of paperwork to get it back on the road, but it's nothing that a true Mustang enthusiast can't handle. So what do you get for your $14,500? A classic Mustang coupe with a straight body, no major rust, a clean pony interior, and a V8 engine under the hood. This car is a driver-quality vehicle that's perfect for cruising around town or taking to car shows. And with a little bit of work, it could be a real showstopper. If you're in the market for a classic Mustang that won't break the bank, this 1965 coupe is definitely worth checking out. It's got all the right ingredients, a great body, a clean interior, and plenty of power under the hood. Plus, with a price tag of just $14,500, it's a bargain compared to some of the other classic Mustangs out there. 6. We've got a real gem for you, a 1984 Chevy Camaro Z28 that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This classic muscle car is priced at just $4,000, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. First off, let's talk about the rarity of this car. According to the seller, this Camaro is a very hard-to-find model, which means you're not likely to see another one like it on the road. And with only 53,000 miles on the odometer, this car is practically a time capsule. Under the hood, you'll find a 5.0-liter high-output engine that's sure to get your heart racing. The seller notes that the car runs and drives very nicely, which is a testament to how well it's been maintained over the years. And with an automatic transmission, this Camaro is easy to drive and perfect for cruising around town. But the real kicker here is the condition of this car. The seller describes it as being in excellent condition, and based on the details they've provided, I have no reason to doubt them. The interior is nice for its age, and all the glass is perfect. Plus, the car is fully loaded with options that all work, which is a rare find for a car that's almost 40 years old. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what's the catch? Well, there isn't one. This Camaro is a turnkey car, which means it's ready to drive off the lot and enjoy right away. And with a clean title in hand, you can be sure that there are no hidden surprises waiting for you down the road. So, what do you get for your $4,000? A rare and well-maintained 1984 Chevy Camaro Z28 with a powerful engine, a smooth automatic transmission, and a clean title. This car is perfect for anyone who loves classic muscle cars and wants a reliable daily driver that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. If you're in the market for a classic Camaro that won't break the bank, this 1984 Z28 is definitely worth checking out. With its excellent condition, low mileage, and turnkey readiness, this car is a bargain that won't last long. So what are you waiting for? 7. We've got a real treat for you, a 1975 Ford Torino that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage sedan is priced at just $3,500, and while it may need a little work, it's a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Torino. The seller describes it as being in good shape overall, which is impressive considering its age. The car has been stored in a garage for the past 26 years, which has likely helped to preserve its condition. However, it's important to note that the odometer shows over 200,000 miles, so this car has definitely seen some use over the years. Under the hood, you'll find a 351 cubic inch Windsor motor, which was a popular engine choice for the Torino back in the day. The seller notes that the engine was running when the car was parked, but it likely needs to be rebuilt due to its high mileage. This is something to keep in mind if you're considering purchasing this car, as a rebuild can be a significant expense. Despite the high mileage and potential engine issues, there's still a lot to love about this Torino. The seller notes that it's all original, which is a big plus for collectors and enthusiasts who value authenticity. The white paint job looks clean in the photos, and the car appears to be complete and intact. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, why would I want a car with over 200,000 miles on it? Well, the answer is simple. Because it's a classic. The Ford Torino is a beloved model among vintage car enthusiasts, and finding one in good condition can be a challenge. Even with the high mileage, this car has a lot of potential for someone who's willing to put in the work to get it back on the road. So, what do you get for your $3,500? A vintage 1975 Ford Torino Elite sedan with a 351 Windsor motor, all original components, and a clean title. This car may need some work to get it running again, but it's a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history at a reasonable price. If you're in the market for a classic car project, this 1975 Ford Torino is definitely worth checking out. With its good overall condition, original components, and potential for restoration, this car could be a real gem for the right buyer. So what are you waiting for? Give the seller a call and see if this Torino is the right fit for your garage. 8. We've got a real gem for you, a 1966 Chevrolet Corvair that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage coupe is priced at $11,500, and let me tell you, it's worth every penny. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Corvair. The seller describes it as being in good shape, and based on the details they've provided, I have no reason to doubt them. The car has been very well cared for over the years, and it shows in both the interior and exterior. The seller notes that there are very few imperfections, which is impressive for a car that's over 50 years old. Under the hood, you'll find a 6-cylinder engine that's paired with an automatic transmission. The seller notes that the car runs and drives great, which is a testament to how well it's been maintained. In fact, the car has just had an oil change and valve adjustment, so it's ready to hit the road and provide plenty of smiles per mile. One of the things that really sets this Corvair apart is the attention to detail. The seller includes manuals, new trunk and engine compartment rubber seals, and other various new parts with the car. This shows that they've gone the extra mile to ensure that the car is in top condition and ready for its new owner. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what about the tires? Well, the seller has thought of that too. The tires on this Corvair are like new, which means you won't have to worry about replacing them anytime soon. That's one less expense to worry about as you enjoy your new classic car. But the real kicker here is the mileage. This Corvair has just 43,000 miles on the odometer, which is incredibly low for a car of this age. It's clear that this car has been babied over the years, and it shows in every detail. So, what do you get for your $11,500? A beautifully maintained 1966 Chevrolet Corvair coupe with a 6-cylinder engine, automatic transmission, and low mileage. This car has been well cared for over the years and comes with plenty of extras, including manuals and new parts. And with its stunning red paint job, this Corvair is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. If you're in the market for a classic car that's been lovingly maintained and is ready to provide years of driving enjoyment, this 1966 Chevrolet Corvair is definitely worth checking out. With its good condition, low mileage, and included extras, this car is a bargain at $11,500. So what are you waiting for? 9. We've got an incredible opportunity for you, a 1962 Ford Falcon that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage coupe is priced at just $6,000, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Falcon. The seller describes it as being like new, and based on the details they've provided, I have no reason to doubt them. The car has undergone a significant amount of work, including a rebuilt engine and transmission, new brake cylinders, and a brand new interior. It's clear that the owner has put a lot of love and care into this car, and it shows in every detail. One of the things that really sets this Falcon apart is the low mileage. The odometer shows just 48,187 miles, which is incredibly low for a car that's almost 60 years old. The seller notes that the car has been parked in a garage for the past 2 years and has been driven less than 100 miles during that time. That means you're getting a car that's been well preserved and hasn't been subjected to the wear and tear of daily driving. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Falcon also comes with an AM/FM radio, which is a nice modern touch for a classic car. And with new tires, you can be sure that this car is ready to hit the road and provide plenty of smiles per mile. Now I know some of you might be wondering, why is the owner selling such a beautiful car? Well, unfortunately, the seller's wife can no longer drive, and they are moving, so they have decided to part with this incredible machine. It's a tough decision, but it's also an opportunity for a lucky buyer to own a piece of automotive history. So, what do you get for your $6,000? A beautifully restored 1962 Ford Falcon Futura with a rebuilt engine and transmission, new brake cylinders, a brand new interior, an AM/FM radio, and new tires. This car has been lovingly cared for and has incredibly low mileage, making it a rare find in the classic car world. And with its stunning yellow paint job, this Falcon is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. If you're in the market for a classic car that's been beautifully restored and is ready to provide years of driving enjoyment, this 1962 Ford Falcon is definitely worth checking out. With its like-new condition, low mileage, and incredible upgrades, this car is a bargain at just $6,000. So what are you waiting for? 10. We've got a real treat for you. A 1960 Ford Thunderbird that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage beauty is priced at $12,000, and while it may have some miles on it, it's still a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Thunderbird. The seller describes it as being in good shape, which is impressive considering its age. The car has approximately 128,000 miles on the odometer, but the seller notes that it has rolled over, so the actual mileage may be higher. However, the car has been well maintained over the years, and the seller has made a number of recent improvements to ensure that it's ready to hit the road. Under the hood, you'll find a 352 cubic inch V8 engine that's described as a strong runner. The seller notes that the car drives and stops well, which is a testament to the recent work that's been done. This includes new front and rear brakes, a new power steering hydraulic assist cylinder, and new transmission seals. But the upgrades don't stop there. The seller has also replaced the gas tank, fuel sending unit, fuel pump, and filters, as well as the rubber fuel line and carburetor. This means that the car's fuel system is in top shape and ready to provide plenty of power to that big V8 engine. Inside, the seller has made some improvements as well. The driver's window and guide felt have been replaced, as well as the passenger's wing window. The car also has a new ignition switch, ignition coil, and battery, so you can be sure that it will start up and run smoothly. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what about the paint and interior? Well, the seller doesn't provide a lot of details on these aspects of the car, but they do note that it's blue in color. Based on the photos, the paint looks to be in good condition, but there may be some imperfections that aren't visible. As for the interior, it's hard to say without more information, but it's likely that it could use some attention given the car's age. So, what do you get for your $12,000? A vintage 1960 Ford Thunderbird with a strong-running V8 engine, recent mechanical upgrades, and a clean title. This car has been well maintained over the years and has recently undergone a number of improvements to ensure that it's ready to provide plenty of driving enjoyment. And while it may have some miles on it, it's still a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. 11. Hey there, classic car enthusiasts. Today, we've got a rare find for you, a 1965 Ford Falcon that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage beauty is priced at $12,000, and while it may need some work to get it back on the road, it's a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. First off, let's talk about what makes this Falcon so special. According to the seller, only 8,000 of this particular model were made with the 289 cubic inch V8 engine and automatic transmission. That means that this car is a rare find, and it's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If this car is so special, why isn't it running? Well, the seller is upfront about the fact that the car has been sitting for a couple of years and will need some work to get it back on the road. Specifically, they mention that the gas will need to be drained and the car will need a tune-up. However, they also note that the car is rust-free and all original, which is a big plus for collectors and enthusiasts. One of the things that really sets this Falcon apart is the fact that it has air conditioning. This was a rare option back in 1965, and it's a great feature to have if you plan on driving the car in the summer months. The seller also notes that the interior is in great shape, which is impressive considering the car's age. Now, I know some of you might be wondering, what's the catch? Well, the seller is upfront about the fact that they are moving to an apartment complex and don't have the time or space to work on the car. They also mention that they need serious cash buyers, which suggests that they may not be willing to negotiate much on the price. So, what do you get for your $12,000? A rare 1965 Ford Falcon with a 289 V8 engine, automatic transmission, and air conditioning. The car is rust-free and all original, but it will need some work to get it back on the road. The interior is in great shape, and the car comes with a clean title in hand. If you're in the market for a classic car that's a bit of a project, this 1965 Ford Falcon is definitely worth checking out. With its rare options and original condition, this car has a lot of potential for the right buyer. However, it's important to keep in mind that it will need some work to get it running again, and the seller may not be willing to negotiate much on the price. 12. We've got an incredible opportunity for you. A 1983 Oldsmobile 98 Regency Bram that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage beauty is priced at $9,800, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Oldsmobile. The seller describes it as being in excellent shape, and based on the details they've provided, I have no reason to doubt them. The car has just 47,000 original miles on the odometer, which is incredibly low for a vehicle that's almost 40 years old. The seller notes that they are the third owner of the car, having purchased it from a married couple in their mid-80s who were the second owners. That means that this car has been well cared for throughout its life, and it shows in every detail. One of the things that really sets this Oldsmobile apart is the fact that it's all original. The seller notes that nothing has ever been replaced except for routine maintenance items like tune-ups, brakes, and struts. Even the hubcaps are original. This is a testament to the quality and durability of these cars, and it's a rare find in today's market. Inside, the car is just as impressive as it is on the outside. The seller notes that it comes from the factory with original suede pillow seats, air conditioning, good heat, a radio, power antenna, power windows, and power door locks, all of which still work like they should. The interior is described as being super clean, which is impressive considering the car's age. Under the hood, you'll find the original V8 5.0 engine and automatic transmission. The seller notes that these cars were built to last and have an amazing smooth ride. They describe it as feeling like you're riding on clouds, with no bumps felt under the road. The suspension is also described as being amazing, with plenty of power underneath the hood. But perhaps the most compelling reason to consider this Oldsmobile is the fact that it's a rare and collectible vehicle. Oldsmobile is no longer in business, which means that these 98 Regency models are becoming increasingly hard to find, especially in this condition and with such low mileage. The seller notes that you'll never find another one like it, and they may just be right. So, what do you get for your $9,800? An incredibly well-preserved 1983 Oldsmobile 98 Regency Bram with just 47,000 original miles, all original parts, and a smooth and comfortable ride that's sure to impress. This car is a rare find and a true collector's item, and it's being offered at a price that's hard to beat. 13. We've got a real gem for you. A 1965 Plymouth Fury 3 that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage muscle car is priced at $15,000, and while it may have some imperfections, it's still a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. First off, let's talk about what makes this Fury 3 so special. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 383 big block engine that's paired with a 727 automatic transmission. This is a classic combination that's sure to provide plenty of power and performance, and it's clear that the seller has enjoyed driving this car over the past 2 years. Now I know what you might be thinking. If this car is so great, Why is the seller looking to part with it? Well, they're upfront about the fact that they're looking to buy a military truck and need the money. It's clear that this Fury 3 has been a beloved part of their collection, and they're not looking to let it go for a lowball price. That being said, the seller is also upfront about the fact that this car isn't perfect. They note that it has 2 or 3 old paint jobs and some body work, as well as some rust here and there. The fuel sending unit also needs to be replaced, which means that the fuel gauge doesn't work. And while the car doesn't have a heater, the seller notes that it's an old original hot rod that has always run great for them. So, what do you get for your $15,000? A classic 1965 Plymouth Fury 3 with a powerful 383 big block engine and a 727 automatic transmission. The car has some imperfections, but it's clear that it's been well loved and well maintained over the years. It's a great opportunity to own a piece of American muscle car history, and it's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. If you're in the market for a vintage hot rod that's got plenty of power and character, this 1965 Plymouth Fury 3 is definitely worth checking out. While it may not be perfect, it's clear that it's been a beloved part of the seller's collection, and they're not looking to let it go for a lowball price. So if you're serious about owning a classic muscle car and have the cash to back it up, give the seller a call and arrange a time to check out this baby in person. Hole 14, we've got an incredible opportunity for you, a 1975 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage beauty is priced at just $7,500, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. First off, let's talk about what makes this Delta 88 so special. Under the hood, you'll find a massive 445 V8 engine that's paired with a Hydromatic 3-speed transmission. This is a classic combination that's sure to provide plenty of power and performance, and the seller notes that there are no oil or transmission leaks. That's a big plus for a car of this age. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Delta 88 has been converted to fuel injection via an MSD system, which means that it's got plenty of modern power and reliability. The seller also notes that the car has dual exhaust, which gives it a great sound both at idle and while running down the freeway. And with power brakes and steering, this car is easy to drive and handle. Now I know what you might be thinking. What about the condition of the car? Well, the seller is upfront about the fact that this Delta 88 isn't perfect, but it's still in excellent shape overall. The interior is described as being in great condition, and the vinyl top has some blemishes but no rips or tears. The car has been repainted to a factory color, and while the paint isn't perfect, it's still in great shape. The body and frame are also described as being extremely clean, especially for a car of this age. So, what do you get for your $7,500? A classic 1975 Oldsmobile Delta 88 with a powerful 455 V8 engine, fuel injection, dual exhaust, and plenty of modern upgrades. The car is in excellent condition overall, with a great interior, clean body and frame, and a ton of potential for either daily driving or restoration. The seller even notes that similar restored models can go for upwards of $25,000, $35,000 on eBay and other car sites, so this is a great opportunity to get in on the ground floor of a classic car investment. Of course, the seller is also upfront about some of the minor issues with the car. The fuel gauge doesn't work, the brakes need to be bled, although they still stop the car perfectly fine. And the MSD system could use a tune-up to get it running at its full potential. The radio also doesn't work, and some interior trim could use replacing. But these are all relatively minor issues that can be easily addressed, and they don't detract from the overall value and potential of this classic Oldsmobile. 15. We've got an incredible opportunity for you, a 1950 Dodge Coronet that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage beauty is priced at just $8,500, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Coronet. The seller describes it as being like new, which is absolutely incredible for a car that's over 70 years old. The car was apparently stored in a barn for 30 years, which has helped to preserve its original condition. The seller notes that there's no rust on the floors, which is a common problem with cars of this age. And while the car has its original body paint, the seller has added a new carpet to freshen up the interior. Under the hood, you'll find a 6-cylinder flathead engine that's paired with a gyromatic automatic transmission. This was a cutting-edge technology back in 1950, and it's a testament to the innovation and engineering prowess of Dodge at the time. The seller notes that the car runs and drives smoothly, which is impressive considering its age. But perhaps the most impressive thing about this Coronet is just how original it is. The seller notes that everything on the car is original, from the body to the engine to the transmission. This is a rare find in the world of classic cars, where many vehicles have been modified or restored over the years. With this Coronet, you're getting a true piece of automotive history that's been preserved in its original state. Of course, the seller is also upfront about the fact that this is an older car, and it may not be perfect in every way, but that's part of the charm of owning a classic vehicle like this. It's a chance to experience a piece of history and to appreciate the craftsmanship and design of a bygone era. So, what do you get for your $8,500? A beautifully preserved 1950 Dodge Coronet with a 6-cylinder flathead engine, gyromatic automatic transmission, and all original components. The car has been stored in a barn for 30 years, which has helped to keep it in incredible condition. And with no rust on the floors and a clean title in hand, this is a car that you can feel confident about owning and driving. If you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations, this 1950 Dodge Coronet is definitely worth checking out. With its incredible condition, all original components, and affordable price point, this car is a rare find that won't last long. So what are you waiting for? Give the seller a call and arrange a time to see this beauty in person. 16. We've got a real treat for you. A 1975 Cadillac Eldorado convertible that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This vintage beauty is priced at just $8,900, and let me tell you, it's got a story that's almost as impressive as the car itself. First off, let's talk about the car. This Eldorado is a true classic, with its sleek lines, powerful 8-cylinder engine, and luxurious interior. The seller notes that the car is in good condition, which is impressive considering its age. The odometer shows 120,000 miles, which is relatively low for a car that's almost 50 years old, and with a clean title and automatic transmission, this Eldorado is ready to hit the road and turn heads wherever it goes. But what really sets this car apart is its history. The seller has been the owner of this Eldorado since the 1980s, and he's not just any ordinary owner. At 83 years old, he's been an Elvis impersonator since the 1960s, and this car has been a big part of his act. The seller notes that the car has been in many parades and events where he would offer his services as an Elvis impersonator. It's not every day that you come across a car with such a unique and interesting history. Of course, the seller has also made some upgrades to the car over the years. The Eldorado has a brand new top that's fully functional, which is a big plus for a convertible of this age. And it also comes with a parade cover boot, which is a nice touch for anyone who wants to show off this classic car in style. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's the catch? Well, the seller is upfront about the fact that this car is located about 30 minutes from Phoenix, Arizona. So if you're not in the area, you'll need to factor in the cost of transportation. The seller also notes that he's only interested in serious buyers, and he's not looking for any trades. But if you're a classic car enthusiast who's looking for a unique and interesting vehicle with a great story behind it, this 1975 Cadillac Eldorado is definitely worth checking out. With its good condition, relatively low mileage, and impressive history as an Elvis impersonator's ride, this car is sure to turn heads and start conversations wherever it goes. So what are you waiting for? If you're in the Phoenix area, or if you're willing to make the trip, give the seller a call and arrange a time to see this beauty in person. Who knows? You might just end up driving home in a piece of Elvis history. 17. We're taking a closer look at a classic American icon, a 1966 Ford Mustang that's up for grabs on Craigslist. The seller is asking $5,500 for this beauty, and from what I can tell, it seems like a pretty solid deal. Now, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. This Mustang is not a V8-powered 289. Instead, it's rocking a 200 cubic inch inline-six engine paired with a manual transmission. But hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The inline-six is known for its reliability and decent fuel economy, making it a great choice for cruising around town or hitting the highway. The seller mentions that the car has had one repaint about 5 years ago, and from the looks of it, the body and frame are in great shape with no rust. The floors and guards are also solid, which is a big plus for a car of this age. It's clear that the owner has taken good care of this Mustang over the years. According to the ad, the seller got this car back in 2007 for their son, who drove it for a bit before losing interest. Since then, it's just been sitting around, waiting for a new owner to take it out on the road and enjoy all that classic Mustang goodness. One thing to keep in mind is that the odometer reads 107,000 miles. While that might seem like a lot, it's not uncommon for a well-maintained classic car to have higher mileage. Plus, with a clean title in hand, you can be confident that you're getting a legitimate road-ready Mustang. Overall, if you're in the market for a vintage Mustang that won't break the bank, this 1966 model with its inline-six engine and manual transmission could be a great choice. Just remember, as the seller mentions, don't ask them to hold it if you're not serious about showing up and taking it home. 18. We've got a real treat for you, a 1966 Ford Thunderbird that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $7,500. This vintage beauty is sure to turn heads wherever it goes, and it could be yours if you act fast. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 390 engine that's ready to roar. The car has 117,030 miles on the odometer, but don't let that scare you off. The seller has made some significant improvements to keep this T-Bird running strong. The radiator and tires are brand new, and the carburetor was rebuilt about 4 years ago. The brake lines have also been replaced, although the seller notes that there's still a small leak somewhere in the front that needs to be addressed. One of the coolest features of this Thunderbird is the working air conditioning, although it does need a recharge. And if you're a fan of modern conveniences, you'll love the aftermarket Bluetooth radio with a microphone for hands-free phone calls. Just keep in mind that the front and rear speakers need to be replaced, but the original rear speaker is still going strong. The power door locks and windows are also in good working order, which is a big plus for a car of this age. However, the seller does mention that the driver's side front floorboard has been patched with metal and fiberglass, and the carpeting needs to be replaced throughout the car. There are a few other minor issues to be aware of, such as an exhaust leak on the right manifold and some duct actuator valves that need attention. But on the bright side, the rear sequential signal light controller and flasher relays have been upgraded with new aftermarket parts, and all the signal lights and fender indicators are working properly. Cosmetically, the car could use some TLC. The paint job is about 15 years old and starting to show some rust spots, and the vinyl top will need to be replaced soon. But with a little bit of elbow grease and some minor repairs, this Thunderbird could be a real head-turner on the road. Overall, if you're looking for a classic car with plenty of potential and a price tag that won't break the bank, this 1966 Ford Thunderbird is definitely worth considering. With a clean title and a seller who seems to have taken good care of the car over the years, you could be cruising down the highway in vintage style in no time. Just don't wait too long. A deal like this won't last forever. 19. We've got a real gem for you. A 1973 Ford Mustang convertible that's up for grabs on Craigslist. The seller is asking $13,900 for this classic beauty, and from what I can tell, it seems like a pretty fair price considering the car's condition and features. First off, let's talk about the engine. This Mustang is powered by a 302 cubic inch V8, which is a great choice for anyone looking for a balance of power and reliability. The engine is paired with a rebuilt C4 automatic transmission, so you can expect smooth shifts and easy cruising. One of the biggest selling points of this Mustang is how original and solid it is. The seller doesn't mention any major rust issues or damage, which is a huge plus for a car that's almost 50 years old. It's clear that this Mustang has been well maintained over the years, and it shows in the car's overall condition. In terms of features, this Mustang has a lot to offer. It comes equipped with power steering and power disc brakes, which make driving a breeze. The car also has air conditioning, which is a must-have for those hot summer days. And if you're a fan of creature comforts, you'll love the deluxe interior and power top. Now, there are a couple of things to keep in mind with this Mustang. The seller mentions that it needs a new convertible top, which is definitely something to factor into your budget. But on the bright side, the car comes with new tires and a new battery, so you won't have to worry about those expenses right off the bat. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Mustang that's ready to hit the road, this 1973 convertible is definitely worth considering. With its original condition, solid mechanics, and desirable features, it's a car that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. And with a clean title and a motivated seller, you could be cruising with the top down in no time. 20. We've got a unique find for you. A 1967 Ford Ranchero 500 that's up for grabs on Craigslist. The seller is asking just $6,000 for this vintage pickup, and while it may need a little TLC, it's got a lot of potential for the right buyer. Under the hood, you'll find a 289 cubic inch V8 engine that's running strong. The seller has recently replaced the carburetor, fuel pump, and solenoid, so you can expect smooth operation and reliable starting. The engine is paired with a 3-speed manual transmission that shifts right on the steering column, giving you that classic driving experience. The body of this Ranchero is in decent shape, according to the seller. It's got a yellow paint job that's sure to turn heads, and while there may be a few dings and dents here and there, overall it seems to be a solid truck. The seller mentions that it came from Texas, which is a good sign. Cars from down south tend to have less rust and corrosion than those from up north. One thing to keep in mind is that the interior of this Ranchero needs some work. The seller doesn't go into specifics, but it's safe to assume that the upholstery and other interior components may need to be replaced or refurbished. However, the truck does have an aftermarket air conditioning system mounted under the dash, which is a nice bonus for those hot summer days. The odometer on this Ranchero reads just 36,000 miles, which is incredibly low for a vehicle of this age. Of course, it's always a good idea to verify the mileage with the seller and get a sense of the truck's overall condition and history. In terms of rarity, the seller notes that out of the 17,243 Rancheros produced in 1967, only 9,504 were the 500 model. That makes this truck a relatively rare find, and could potentially add to its value down the line. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic pickup with plenty of character and potential, this 1967 Ford Ranchero 500 is definitely worth considering. With a strong running V8 engine, a manual transmission, and a clean title, it's a truck that could be a lot of fun to drive and tinker with. Just be prepared to put in a little work on the interior, and you could have a real head turner on your hands. If you're interested, be sure to give the seller a call. They're not accepting texts or emails, so you'll need to pick up the phone to learn more.